Hi there, my name's Grays and welcome to Grays Outdoors. Today I will be presenting a step-by-step guide on how to make yourself a DIY underquilt. So let's get going. So what will you need for this project? First things, you'll need a throw. This is double black diamond throw available from Amazon in the UK or COSTCO in the US. Check the link out below. You'll need a scissors, you'll need some pins, you'll need some webbing or some cotton bunting. This is 35mm cotton bunting or 1.5 inch, and that is to make your channel with, which we're going to put in bungee through. You'll need some bungee cord. This is 3mm bungee cord. I initially bought it for my tent poles. And of course, a sewing machine. The first thing we need to do is to ensure that the channels that we sew don't fray at the end. So I'm going to fold that down twice and sew it over. Well, we've got that done. Now let's measure it, cut it off and do the other side. The length of the throw is 177 centimeters or 70 inches. So I've measured it, pinned it, and I will be doubling up and cutting the channel. $177. What I'm doing is just giving it an extra centimeter for the fold over. Okay, so we've got one piece completed with two edges sewn, and now we can easily measure the other one and do that one. Okay, guys, so something to be aware of. I just made a mistake. When you sew the ends, make sure you don't sew them on the wrong way around. So I've had to unpick it and it's now correct, so they both face the same way. Well, corrected and on our way. Let's get going. So I've got my two channels, here they are, and I've sewn them at the end to seal them so they don't fray, and now I'm going to be pinning them to the length of the throw. Once you've finished pinning the one side, time to double it over and create a channel. So we'll pin again. So after just a few pricks with the pin, I've got myself a channel pinned in all the way along the one length. You can see that. So we're going to give it a sew. So I've completed the first channel. Wow, no expert sewer, but I got through it. So let's get going for the second one now. Finally, two channels done. Now that we've done the channels for the lengths, we are now going to do channels for the widths. So pick up what's left of your bunting and let's get going. I've completed the widths, which means I now have a channel on each side, each corner culminating in 2 holes for the shock cord to be fed into. Let's have a look from above. So what we've got here is the full underquilt. I've already threaded a bungee through the lengthwise, which will give it its hammock feel, and now we're going to do the widths and feed the bungee through the widths to scrunch it up. So we're on to the next step. We've put the bungee cords in on the lengths. You might notice that these were black and not white like the original ones I showed you. The reason for this is a formal. So the reason I did this was because this narrow one that I originally used on my tent poles, when stretched along the length of the hammock, tended to dip a bit in the middle. It didn't have the strength to hold the underquilt up, so you need the underquilt to be held up all the way across the hammock. This will be fine for the widths to cinch it up and secure that airflow, but not for the lengths. So let's get this put into the widths. First thing I'm going to do is take one of these cable locks and just put it at the end so it doesn't come through, and let's get it put through. Got our width here, and let's get going. So we've got it out. Just secure it with the cord lock. And like a nice little figure of 8 on the end. Now we're going to cinch it up so it's ready to be put on the hammock. So we've got the end cinched up, so I think I will get going and sort the other end off, and then it's actually finished and we go and get out into the woods and put it up and see what it looks like. So found my way into the woods, and now I'm going to find some place where we can test the hammock underquilt and maybe have a cup of tea. Well, it looks like that coffee's ready, so switch that off. So this is what we've made so far. Let's pop it on the hammock and ensure that it sits correctly on the setting that I have. I like to keep the reflective side on the inside, obviously provide more warmth. So we're taking our black length bungees that we've got, And we take that's the one side, and I'm just going to hook it into my carabiner. You might have a different way of setting it up, but yeah, hook it in, whether it's the carabiner or at the top of your endless loop. I'm sure there's a way. Let's go to the other side. Okay, well, let's do the test and get in and see if it works. So a couple of adjustments, come closer and have a look. So you'll see I need to tighten up these widths, which we put the cable locks on, or the cord locks. So I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit to make sure that it sits snug and I'm not losing any heat around the side. Okay, those are nice and tight. And then I felt that this was just dropping. You can see even with the 4mm shock cord, unless you pull it really tight, it can give really quickly. So that was obviously the reason for getting one. So I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. I just tied a temporary slip knot there so I could do just this. Going to adjust it on the other side a bit. Hear the woodpecker. And there again. It's fantastic to have the woodpeckers out this time of the year. It's the end of March in southern England at the moment, so really nice to hear them. That gives a much better flexibility or much better pull. So I'm just going to adjust this width bungee on the other side. So you can see it slides very nicely should you need to slide it up or down. The width's tightened up, and that's a better hang for me for the bungees. So let me take you back a little bit and jump in it again. That's much better. I'm a side sleeper, so I'm going to test it out on my side. Very nice. I think the project is a success. It seems to cradle me really nicely, and it seems to cover most of my body. So my foot box is just covered with a sleeping bag anyway. So I do encourage you to give it a go. It's time for me to have my coffee and definitely a piece of chocolate. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the project.